Oh my goodness. Back with this Gerber. Go ahead, everybody. Feast your eyes on even the smallest little thing. Exacto knife. Exactly knife. So let's go ahead and get into it, everybody. Let's talk blades because that's what we're into. Today I got for you guys another Gerber. It's Gerber Prybird X. Now this little thing is a little exacto knife. It's a little tactical exacto knife. They're calling it the multi-tool, and yes, I have the original packaging, so you guys get to see what it comes in. Took it out, played with it a little bit. I think it's kind of cool. But I couldn't make my mind up, so yeah, I had to get the original Prybird multi-tool. This is actually kind of cool because it stood out to me. It was the first thing that I saw before I saw the original. And I gotta tell you, I really do like how they put the paracord on here. Now, they come in two different, according to Amazon anyways, they come in two different colors. You got this all black model right here with the green paracord, and then you got an all silver with a blue paracord. So that's the two colors that I know of anyways that they've shown. And of course it has the Gerber symbol right here, the sword and shield. And you got that Gerber right there. So you can see the exacto knife. There it is. And this is actually really smooth. It's smoother than the original Prybird. So this Prybird X is great for those of you who really, really want that smallest blade possible. This is good for that. Exacto knife users, for those people who really, really like it. The only reason why I deter away from this is because how fragile this is. But if you have extras, you can obviously interchange it. You just press it all the way out, and you're able to take out that blade and put in a new one. Now, I've heard some reviews where if you try to get the exact blade, you got to make sure that it's the exact one. Otherwise, there are some that are actually longer than this, and when you put it all the way in there, it actually sticks out a little bit. So be aware of that. Make sure you get the right blade for this. This is actually kind of cool. It has the same stuff, all right? It already has a built-in lanyard, so you don't have to throw one in there. But it's got all these little tools on here. You got a little pry bar right here. You got the screw remover right there in the middle. You got a little bottle opener right here. And you got this little hole, but we'll get into the specs of this. I'm going to show you guys the package that it comes in. And here it is. So, Gerber Prybird X multi-tool. Solutions at the ready. So you got that little back portion like I just tried to show you guys right here. All right. That's the same thing. Comes with 8 tools, interchangeable parts, which means you can switch out the blade. You got the sliding lock bottle opener, and it has this new little feature right here. That's the keychain feature, which you can turn it into a keychain if you want to. And here it is, Gerber guarantee, see back, and then you got the Hello Trouble, hashtag Hello Trouble. Oh, and you get your reading material in there, so that's your warranty information and, you know, everything else, your warnings and all that good and happy junk comes in there. I normally just throw this stuff away unless I really, really need to keep it for whatever reason. I normally don't. All right, I'll flip it to the back so you guys can see what's going on here. You got the Prybird X blade, is a number 11 hobby blade, stainless steel, handle 6061 anodized aluminum, onyx is what they're calling it, pry bar stainless steel, and you got the little text here, you can pause to read that. So you got retractable fine edged number 11 blade, tool less blade replacement, that's that portion right there. You got the slide lock right here. Paracord OD green, which you guys know I'm not a fan of OD green, but it's on a paracord, so it's acceptable. Lanyard hole, so I guess that's that little hole right there. That's that guy right there. That little hole. All right, so then you got your wire stripper. That's right there. You got your nail puller, which is that little, portion in the middle right there. Small flat driver, that's on that side. You got the large flat driver on that side, pry bar, and bottle opener all there. And then you got more text in case you guys want to read that. So that's that, and it's really cool. I think it's a nifty little tool. If you're not into the big guy, like Big Hoss right here, you can always use this guy. Now, what I really like, the difference between the two of these is that you got anodized aluminum, and then you got G10. It just depends on which one you want. You got big blade down here, and you got the small blade up here. So a little exacto knife, number 11 is what they're calling it. I've never really had to buy exacto knife. I just keep calling it that because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a little exacto knife. And I don't know if I'm, really overexerting that, but the only thing is if I need a fine blade, then that's what I would use this for. It's got that nice fine blade. Just be very aware that that's very, very thin. And you run a high risk of snapping the tip on that if you try to pry with this. So you got a built-in pry bar, use your pry bar so that way you can save your blade. But make sure you buy some replacements so that way you guys have these on hand so you can switch this bad boy out when you need to. When that thing dulls out, you toss it, put a new one in there. Why not? Now, what's really cool about this, like I said, is it has lanyard already attached to it. So you can drop this in the pocket and you can find it and still have a little bit more material to pull it out and use it and do whatever you need to do and slip it back in the pocket nice and easy. This is for you guys out there that, or gals, who don't really want a big, scary knife, but appreciate a small multi-tool. This is one of those things, and it's very minimal. It only has the stuff that, that you would use. And instead of using your regular knife for prying, you can couple it with a multi-tool like this and use this for prying. Why not? And the only thing I don't like about this is that the size is scaled down. So this pry bar is pretty small. And knowing that pry bars by themselves can go anywhere between $50 to $500 freaking dollars, depending on whether you want a simple pry bar that you can slip into your pocket or the more jeweled, fancy, pantsy, folded steel with Damascus. It's ridiculous. It's a freaking pocket pry bar, and yet they have ridiculous prices for those because there are tactical people out there who just want that awesome stuff. It's a pry bar. You're going to be prying with it. Why do you want it all pretty? You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's like having a diamond encrusted sledgehammer or a rubied hammer. It doesn't make sense to me why anybody would want to spend that kind of money on something and make it look pretty when you're going to use it to pry open something. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's just weird to me. It doesn't really make sense. But you know what? People like me, there are expensive knives out there, and I shouldn't be talking. Anyways, Gerber, great stuff. This is just one of those knives that kind of just comes into the gray area of, it's not really a Swiss Army knife, and it's not really one of those knives that you want to, it's not like a folding knife. This is one of those kind of multi-tool things. So we'll get into the specs. I'm going to go ahead and weigh it for you guys and give you guys a length so that way you guys have a measurement and all this good and happy jargon. So this is going to come in at a whopping 1.66 ounces. Under 2 ounces for this bad boy. So that makes it really light. So if you thought the G10 version was light, this is even lighter. And we'll get into the length. So I'm going to retract the blade at its normal full open position. And it comes to, I want to say, about 7 inches with the lanyard, and it's going to be under 5 inches without the lanyard if you decide to, or around about 5 inches, close to 5 inches without the lanyard. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how thin this is in the pocket. So you are looking at a 7.3 on the handle. And on the blade, I'm just going to do it for the hell of it, a 0.2. All right, so overall, this is just one of those really cool kind of keychain type functional functional tools that you can drop in and out of the pocket that don't break the bank. And it's just a really cool little thing that you can have in your EDC. You know, I see a lot of people. There's one of my buddies who used to carry, I think I got him into it, and I kind of feel bad for it, but this guy carried like 6 knives. He did. He carried 6 knives, and I just don't understand why he did it. Back in the day, I carried about 4 knives on me, and I got my reasons for it. I'm not going to get into it, but I just stopped doing it. I was like, that's kind of overkill. You know, that's just ridiculous. Why would anybody need to carry that many knives? But if you're a knife nut and you're somebody who appreciates folding knives, it's just something that you do. You want a knife in different sizes, so you got variety of whatever you want in there. You need to have a knife for self-defense. You need to have a knife for your tools, and you need to have a normal knife that can, open all the other stuff in between. So that was just kind of my mindset at the time, but it's kind of evolved into just being a minimalist, carrying only 1 or 2 blades at max. And this would be a great blade to couple if you're trying to keep a self-defense blade on you that you don't want to use for everyday carry. This would be great for everyday carry because it's a knife blade that you can simply replace once it's dulled out. And you can use this knife blade for your minimal cutting, because obviously it's really small. I wouldn't do really too much heavy cutting with this. And then put it away. And this is really smooth, by the way. This is really smooth action. Smoother than its original guy right here, the Prybird. You hear that? It's not gritty. It's just really tight, and it's just really kind of hard to push out and retract. At least, this isn't meant for fast deployment at all. It's a tool. You can use it, and you can drop it in the pocket, and this is meant for a beating. This is just a little bit less for that. I mean, you could still use this for a beating, but just be really mindful that that's a very small blade that, to me, seems a bit fragile to me. But it's very effective as a small tool if you don't want the big, scary blades or even a blade of this size. Okay, so you can see the size of that blade and see the size of this blade. You can tell. It just depends on your own preference. So this is smoother, though. This is really smooth. I've noticed that getting to the retractor right here just feels good. And you can fully extend it to get that extra reach if you really want to. Just be really careful, because this is how you remove the blade and replace it. But it has the locking mechanism on there, so you can retract the blade and keep it retracted. You can extend the blade to keep it out and use it, and then you can extend it even more to replace the blade. Really cool stuff. You got the lanyard on there. You can throw it on a keychain, with that little hole right there. You can open up bottles at a party. You can pry some nails out of stuff as long as they're not screws. You can pry open stuff, then you can leave your precious, precious knives back in your pocket and use them for the proper cutting it's meant for instead of the prying. This could be your new pry. And, of course, the price tag on this thing is relatively affordable. It doesn't break the bank at all. You can still find them on Amazon. Just give me a sec here. I need to go back and try to find that for you. If it'll let me. I ended up buying both of them at the same time because I really didn't know which one I wanted more. But cool thing is that buying both of them at the same time actually is just like, what, $50 around about. So it's like 23 and change for each, $23.70 for the regular pry bar. And then it's like the same amount, if not a few dollars difference with this guy. So, if that matters to you at all, this is a great little tool that you can just throw in your back pocket and take it with you. Do your job, and still not have to worry about, throwing your Sabenza into a can of paint because you used it as a pry bar and you screwed up the apex or whatever, which I've heard horror stories of. One of my buddies was using one of his knives as a pry bar, and he broke his tip. And it was a $700 knife. He regretted it, and I was like, hey, you know, because he kept on defending it. He kept on saying, oh, that's my $700 knife. I can do whatever the hell I want to with it. And I'm like, yeah, you can. Yes, you can. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. But I'm saying, you know, that's a lot of money to be spending on a knife, and then ruining it is just, it's just sad, you know. And then, of course, I had to reprofile the tip. I had to reprofile the blade for him, which I did my best. And I did a really decent job. I did a really good job on it. I brought it back, and he's like, oh, man, you really did fix it. And I was like, well, I did my best. Like I said, I told him, I was like, you should have sent it back to the original company. But he refused to, because the company was going to charge him a bunch of money because it wasn't covered under their insurance, which is a whole other argument. If you are going to misuse your blades, you're not going to have any type of coverage unless you're willing to fork out some more money in order to get a new one, or just work with whatever they got to work with you to make it better, and in turn actually making it worse. So anyways, what the heck? Page didn't load. There it is. So yeah, this is just one of those great little things that you can have coupled with your already stupidly expensive knife. Yeah, this is $22 flat on Amazon. No change. $22 even for this little guy. Great little tactical exacto knife. But it's great. You know, you got your Gerber insignias on there, if you know that kind of matters to you at all. And then you got your really cool paracord. I actually thought this was gutted paracord. It's not. It is actual paracord that still has its innards. So you can use this thing for whatever you frickin' want to. That in and of itself is just awesome. So kudos to Gerber. I don't have too many knives from them. I think I did a couple of trades, so I ended up losing almost all my Gerbers. I might have one or two lingering, but I'm not entirely sure. But this is a fun knife. This is a great little tool to just put in the pocket if you know that you cannot carry a full-blown folder or fixed blade, and you're only allowed to carry something that vaguely resembles a tool. Well, this is something that can hopefully pass that test. It's a lot harder for that one to work, but it still works. So good stuff. This one's nice and smooth. That's one of the reasons why I really like this. And it's a lot lighter than the G10 version, if that makes any difference. You got some jimping right here. I want to call it jimping, but you got some textured areas right here for grip. So you got that full four-finger grip, and you really do. It's just touching that, you know, bottle opener, your pinky. But everything else seems to fit. And you got that little lanyard at the very back. So if you really need to, you got that extra amount. So this is good for little tasks that you don't want to bust out your really expensive knife on. This will be great for that. And it doesn't break the bank, so you're not buying a whole brand new knife just to do all that other stuff. You got something that you can use that can be thrown in your back pocket, and you don't have to worry about it. If you lose it or break it, guess what? It doesn't break the bank. The damn thing is literally under $30 as a purchase, so that's pretty damn affordable. It's really good. It's one of those things that I appreciate. It brings a smile to my face knowing that, you got options. And why not? So go ahead and slash that like button, stab that subscribe, slice that bell icon so you guys are notified anytime that I post new stuff. And in these craziest of times, all you good folks, please be kind, be safe, and carry responsibly. And I'll see you all good people in the next video.